Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Jarvis Escott with What's Happening in Birmingham. Today I have the honor and pleasure of being back with Susan Sellers. You probably saw the previous video about her great story, so I did that on purpose to kind of tell her story first, but part two to kind of tell what was her purpose afterwards. So Susan, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Jarvis. I'm so excited to be here to tell you about Forge.
Great. Forge is a great nonprofit in our area that's helping breast cancer survivors and people currently going through the disease. So Susan, kind of tell us a little bit more about Forge.
So at the time that I was diagnosed, I was put in contact with a woman named Madeline Harris. Madeline had been an oncology nurse. She had retired, and the Community Foundation had hired her to be the director of the Women's Breast Health Fund at the Community Foundation, which was a fund that specifically funded projects for breast cancer survivors. And breast cancer survivor is defined as the point of diagnosis through the balance of life, however that looks. That's what a survivor is. And so during the time that I had been diagnosed, a mutual friend had connected me to Madeline, and I had talked to her on the phone and told her about my situation, my medical situation, and asked her for her input and asked her for her advice. And she said, I'm working on this really neat project, and maybe when you get past all of this, at some point in your life, you might want to be a part of it. Well, lo and behold. Well, lo and behold, I not only had an opportunity to work with Madeline on this and the Women's Breast Health Fund, but to be on it from the ground floor up and work with her to help conceptualize it. So after I finished my treatment, I came to work at St. Vincent's Foundation, and what Madeline and the Women's Breast Health Fund wanted to do is they wanted a comprehensive survivorship program for breast cancer survivors and co-survivors, those that cared for them, to help give them support, to help give them knowledge, to help give them strength, to help give them direction. And so they had asked St. Vincent's Foundation if they would help administer that program, and if we would get all the other health systems to partner with us. And so that's what we did. And so this is the only partnership of its kind in the entire country.
Yeah, I've noticed that. You got all the major health systems here in town.
That's right.
All under one umbrella.
That's right. And so, I think the health systems sometimes get teased about maybe they're buying each other or suing each other or trying to prevent each other from opening a site here, there, or otherwhere, or somewhere else. But the health system said, look, when we're talking about Forge, we leave everything outside the door and we come in this room and we talk about that survivor, and we try to create something really unique and really special for breast cancer survivors here in this community that's a partnership of all of us. And so it's really unique and it's really remarkable. And for me, it just gave me a wonderful opportunity to pay it forward, so to speak, for all the wonderful things that people did for us during my journey.
All right. So one of the great things I love about you all's organization is all the unique programs and services you all do. Can you tell a little bit more about that?
Sure, yeah. Well, so Forge focuses on the quality of life domains, meaning physical, spiritual, mental. And so what we do is we work with survivors and co-survivors, and we create an individualized plan for that survivor based on what their individual needs are. And that can include everything from counseling at Oasis Counseling Center. That can include financial assistance and services with Gateway. We work with all the existing community partners to take care of these survivors and these co-survivors. That can include legal assistance through the Birmingham Bar, volunteer lawyers program. And so all these different organizations partner with Forge to try to make sure that whatever that survivor's needs may be during any point during their life, that they can access it and have all those wraparound services.
And one thing I noticed too, I was going to y'all's website and doing some research, is you have particular activities that you do with gardens.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So we have a partnership with the Master Gardeners
Okay.
and with the Birmingham Botanical Gardens, and we have classes every other month that are gardening classes, and they do everything from teach survivors how to, there's always a theme that's tied to survivorship, and so they may talk about how to plant a garden where you
Okay.
grow food that would be good and healthy for you to eat, and recipes that would correspond with that, so you could eat that healthy food. We do journaling. We do all different kinds of flower arranging, gardening activities that are tied to themes around survivorship as well.
All right, and one thing I wanted to ask you as well is, like, what's been some of the highlights and milestones since you all have been founded? Because it's 2012 when it was founded, correct?
It was 2014 we started
2014,
working
okay.
on it. Yeah, that's right. And so, oh my goodness, there have been so many. I think one of the best highlights. So we started Forge with a really extensive community assessment.
All right.
And that meant literally walking into the rural communities, going into the public libraries, into the churches, trying to sit down and meet with people and say, what do you have? What do you need? And I think there were a couple of things that came out loud and clear, which were
Okay.
kind of the places where we started with Forge. One was that survivors wanted to talk to other survivors when they
Okay.
were diagnosed. And as much as we love our medical professionals, they wanted to talk to somebody else who had
Okay.
already walked that journey. And so Forge created its advocate program, and these volunteers go through an extensive amount of training to serve as an advocate with that
Okay.
survivor. And so that's who reaches out to them, talks to them, helps create this individualized plan with them, etc. So seeing that program launch with this incredible cadre of 42 volunteers that have selflessly been through this training, and many of them are survivors themselves, has been so rewarding just to see some of those relationships prosper. And then the other thing that came through really loud and clear was that our rural communities don't have a lot of the services that we are fortunate enough to have here in Birmingham. And so sometimes it's difficult for the rural communities to do more than just get here for their treatment
Okay.
and their doctor's appointments. So we started the first support group in Blount County. They didn't ever have one before. The highlight of that, though, was not just the support group, but it was the fact that that support group had someone that took leadership of that lives in that community, and we handed it off to that community, and they grow and they go gangbusters. So, you know, Forge doesn't want to own everything or hang on to everything forever. It gave that community the connections and the skills and the things that it needed to run that group itself moving forward. So those are two of the there's a lot of highlights.
Yes,
I mean, and
yes,
there's
yes,
so
yes.
many survivors and co-survivors that we have worked with, and just see the letters that they write back and the things that they say about how Forge has helped them, not just during the period of diagnosis and treatment, because like we talked about in the last video, you know, breast cancer survivorship, it's not a one and done. It's something that stays with you the rest of your life, whether it's the side effects of chemo, whether it's, you know, the medicine that you're taking and those side effects, whether it's a recurrence, whatever it is, you know, it continues to stay with you for forever. And so just knowing that there's a place like Forge where there's always somebody available to talk to listen to, that has vetted resources and research available to give to you, so that you're not just blindly on the internet trying to find things out yourself, is huge.
All right, so how can someone donate to this great organization from you all?
So they can call Forge's phone number. They can go to the Forge website, www.forgeon.org. They take online contributions, you know, checks. Anyway, those of us in the nonprofit sector, we know we take money in any form or fashion. And you just would be really amazed. I think, Jarvis, we have exercise classes now called Survive Strong, and we continue to do, there's a retreat this week, actually tomorrow at the Benedictine Sisters Retreat Center in Coleman. So we are always doing things like that for survivors that are related to just lifestyle classes and things to improve their survivorship. But the heart and soul of Forge is that relationship and that individualized plan to make sure that whatever your specific needs are or your family's needs are, that's available to you.
All right. Well, Susan, thank you for coming on today for 2 videos.
Yeah.
Got it for 2 videos, everybody.
I wore you out.
Yeah, no, fine. I just wanted to make sure that, especially during this month, that this is a very important month, this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right, that, it's important to kind of educate people about this disease, but I think it's also important to kind of share stories. So I thank you for just sharing your story.
Thank you.
That hopefully, someone that's watching would either one, share it with someone they know, and also even go get themselves checked out, because it affects men as well. Those we gotta go get ourselves checked as well.
We have men, and we work with men survivors also.
Yes.
So absolutely, everybody needs to get checked and do preventative measures, and know that if you do have a diagnosis, that Forge is here to work with you and to help you.
All right, well, Susan, thank you again. Thank you all for watching. Please check out what'shappeningbirmingham.com for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.